Good morning, evening, afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome right here to the third round of the Quarantine Cup. Once again on Vanilla Stream, we are bringing you another match here on Dead Center. We have a neutral server game between teams G2 and Aquilax. G2 being your 4th seed in the tournament, Aquilax being your 9th seed. One game winner is going to move on to 3-0 in this tournament. The loser drops to 2-1. And I am joined for this one-game cast here at 8 a.m. Eastern Time in the U.S. by the one and only Mr. Mesk, who assuredly is not from the United States, but is also, I am sure, very excited for this game. How are you today, sir?
I am wonderful. It is 10 p.m. where I am, and I'm very excited to cast this game because I'm very in tune with the Aquilax boys. We've been scrimming them for the entire tournament, and I'm excited to see what they do.
Exactly, and I think you actually have a very unique angle into this because you know Team Aquilax so well. They're a little bit of an underdog here in this game, but do you think they can pull off this upset here with a one-game bomb server on Dead Center?
Dead Center? Yep, I definitely think it's possible. They have beaten G2 in scrims, I have heard, so I think if they play their best, there is a possibility that they will win tonight.
Yeah, and I think it's worth mentioning too that because they are playing on this neutral game, we are seeing a fair amount of orange pings here, but everybody really is sitting between that like 110 ping and 150 ping window. This could come into play. We were talking a little bit about it before the game, especially here on map 1 just because of that early tank with 2 guns, but Aquilax, I've seen them play in this tournament so far. They've definitely earned the ranking that they had going into it and have proven so far that, you know, they can really stack up against anyone on a home and away game or also on a one-game server. G2, however, are one hell of an opponent, especially to be playing here in round 3.
Very much so.
Oh, with that being said, we're going to have an Aquilax forum, I'm fairly sure, correct? Confirm or deny if we're gonna have that. No. Okay, so basically what we're being told is that the admins are dodging the war room, but aside from that, we should be able to get some perspective from the Aquilax side. I do believe we're just waiting on a couple of the casters to ready up. For those who were unaware, we did see a upset occur earlier today, technically, where Team South Stars did upset Team Evo on that one game. So it's been a really interesting tournament so far. Dead Center, I don't know, Mesk, in terms of how you and your team play it, how do you feel like Dead Center has adapted to the new zone mod changes?
I think it hasn't really changed that much. I'm sort of coming off of a long break playing this game, so I haven't had that much experience playing Dead Center because it is not that common of a campaign. But we're actually going live now, so we're going to see how Team Aquilax takes this first tank at a 21%.
Indeed, we are. So we're going to be seeing Team Aquilax, that being the number 9 seed on the Survivor side first. Team G2 on the Special Infected. We'll be getting a little bit more into the particulars of their rosters after we see this first hit go in. Hunter and Spitter both not finding much of anything on those stairs. Survivors hauling their way back to the safe room. They are going to be taking a 1 boom, and the tank is up for the captain of G2 in the hands of Lion Mesk. What do we expect to see here out of the Survivors to survive this tank?
I think they're going to be playing all around the air conditioners, making sure that the people without the guns are taking the first punch and maybe getting down there so that the people with the guns can rail the tank as he comes in. The tank is running towards iPat, who was in a bad position, gets 2 punches on. Tank changing and misses a punch, gets the 3rd on iPat. He hasn't taken pills, but he was 5 punches. There's 2. The Smoker and Jockey both land, and Nick is just chasing the Jockey down and eats the punch. That looks like it's a wipe for Team Aquilax.
Indeed, it's going to be. Lion is actually going to see a Smoker get cleared very late right here onto Rochelle. Caution, that being the Uzi for Aquilax. A lot of action starting off right here, but this is kind of what I alluded to at the first part of this cast. That wipe going out came on the tail end of that one boom that was hitting the stairwell. The tank went in, got his early down, missed a couple punches though, but the SI support almost landed that triple cap on the survivors who were on that left-hand side after that initial down went in. And because this is a one game, that I feel is a great way for Team G2 to set the tone. And now if they can survive this tank and even make this map, they'll be in a great position going forward.
Yeah, this is very dangerous for Team Aquilax if they don't put this tank to work. We saw that the tank spawned very, very early, and it may not even be reliable to go for a hit immediately if they aren't ready for it.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see how boomers work nowadays, and I would say that the one boom in the stairwell there, we saw it in a scrim that my team played last night as well, but there can be a lot of common that show up extremely fast from just a one boom, and committing a tank while there's still any kind of horde going in, it's essentially then, you know, more than a 4-on-4 because you've got so many, like, common coming through the door, restricting survivors' movement, and that did help that tank get that initial down. But now we're going to be seeing the first hit coming in from Team Aquilax here, landing a nice pound spit double boom and a smoker pull underneath the stairs. Ice for Team G2 taking a lot of damage and also taking a proxy boom. This seems like the right time for us to do that quick roster rundown. So for Team G2, who have been honestly one of the best teams in the international community for quite some time, we've got Reg HQ, Ice, Lion, and Snipe. And who do we have for Aquilax, Mesk?
We have the team captain Caution, we have iPat, Dino, and DDA. And we have our tank spawning up, looking to roll in with his jockey, Hunter, and Charger. That looks like that's the spawns they're going with, and iPad is going straight in. I'll let you have this one.
Indeed he is. He's down to about 4,000 health, looking for a secure onto the guns right there, getting the first punch onto Nick. That is the Uzi, and that is key to surviving this tank on the special infective side, but the corner's actually going to get away from iPad there as the rest of the hit goes in a beautiful tri-cap onto Team G2. The Hunter and the Jockey both landing, pinning Ellis on top of the radiator, and the Jockey taking Coach away, and that is a fantastic double wipe multi-cap coming out. Mesk, that is what Team Aquilax needs to do to win this game.
I think that is very true. And they're even actually 3 points behind, which I think is a bonus because we get to see where the tank spawns, and then they can play around it by getting early chip or positioning in that tank fight next round.
Completely agree. This is a situation where, alright, you would want to have survived the tank and you would want to be leading going into map 2, but if you say, alright, double wipe, other team has a 3-point lead here, like, that is something that is definitely manageable. And now the pressure is going to be on Team G2 to play their survivor round here on map 2 after getting wiped like that, because after they got their initial wipe, the momentum was on their side, but that triple cap really does put it back in Aquilax's favor. And this tank's going to be at 61%, so that means prior to the long walkway bridge there as well. So this could be a very interesting tank fight for both sides.
I think so.
Meanwhile, here we are going to be seeing, I think it's going to be... Yeah, okay, so iPad's going to rejoin now, and the cross team coming out from our lovely tournament administrator here. New rule, first team to 100 points is the one who actually wins the game. If they were to agree to that, I'm not sure how that gets enforced as an official ruling or not, but I know that Team G2 are going to be looking to make short work of this Survivor map. Map 2 and Map 3. The most quote-unquote normal maps of Dead Center there, obviously. There's all the survivors with guns, there's no gas tanks, there's no weird death charges, really, but this first hit for Team Aquilax is going to be that 2-2. Hunter, Spitter, Boomer, and the Jockey. The Jockey's going to be looking to come from the top as well with this Hunter and Mesk. I think we're going to see Team G2 push directly under to this right-hand side, but they're going to get pound, spat on, and boomed. With that Jockey not able to land. A nice take for G2 though as they push their way out.
Yeah, even though that that hit sort of landed, it didn't do very much damage, and G2 are able to push forward now, being able to clear Ellis from all the horde. So, great take from G2 there.
So, from the matches that you've seen, plus how you've played this so far with Insax, what do you think the key is to winning a game like this on Dead Center when it's just one server?
I think probably taking as little damage as you can from the hits, because tank fights can be played out so long in these maps if they're in difficult spots. The bridge in this map, not so good for long tanks, but there are other places where they can be taken long. And G2 are pushing back towards the van, and Aquilax is setting up for the next hit. I think they're kind of waiting for them to go underneath the bridge here.
Yeah, G2 Survivor giving a lot of respect to that special infected, and that's exactly why, because it was almost another triple cap. That Charger is going to get 2 pounds in the front there, managing to land on to Snipe, and that Hunter and that Smoker were very close to synchronizing that. G2 showing that they are respecting Aquilax's SI right there, taking their time, killing all the common rather before the SI come in, and also backing up so that all the special infected had to come from the same direction. And here now, we are going to be seeing G2 moving up these stairs into another 2-2. Jockey, Boomer, Spitter, Hunter going in right now, but a nice M2 onto that Jockey by Ice, and also the Spit not going to land. That's pretty much the hit shutdown.
I think so. The Spitter's trying to rotate around to get another Spit. Boomer lands a two boom right there, and Hunter and Spitter might be hitting as soon as they come out this door.
I expect them probably to throw this in here, as they do, and that's a nice pin. Nice pin onto Ice, and Ice is actually going to be forced to jump back up onto that railing as the rest of this horde comes in. Again, G2 taking it as slow as they have to, trying to Uzi these common down. Charger isn't going to be able to get that spawn quite before the survivors drop, but this is going to be probably the last hit for Team Aquilax prior to this tank. And honestly, Mesk, I've seen this tank go both ways. I've seen some wipes pushed out, but also some shutdown by the survivors.
Yeah, I think it's kind of... Oh, the hit's gone in. Charger misses, but Spit gets the stumble damage a bit, and now the tank has spawned up. And they're looking to chip it before the fight.
Indeed they are. This tank spawns on this bridge, and it's interesting to see the tank backing up here because I'm not sure if the survivors would have been able to push into that bridge. I know it's been tempting to do for a couple teams, but the tank spawns, I think, just close enough to where Dino could have intercepted them. This Boomer is going to go in and land a single boom onto Rochelle as the tank transitions onto the roof here. You can do a nice amount of parkour to get on top of this concrete siding. I do believe if he jumps from there, he will find it. Indeed, he does. That's going to be the tank getting on top of the survivors with a Hunter and a Smoker and a third spawn coming into queue. What do you think about this commit here, Mask? I think it's the right idea.
I think so. If you spend some time with the spawns, you can actually get on top of that tree where Coach is, and you could get some kind of nasty in-cap because they've sent their boomer in already. But it looks like Tank's committing without letting his spawns do that, so they get the corner onto Rochelle. They have one guy up on the lane, which will be smoked down, and the Hunter goes in, lands on the guy at the top. Charger lands on one, and Charger gets cleared. It looks like just one in-cap at the moment as the tank dies.
That was really unfortunate for Team Aquilax. As that tank was getting that down onto Rochelle, the rest of G2 were just completely railing into his back. He had about, I want to say like 1400 HP when he was about to get that last punch onto Rochelle, and then by the time the SI went in, he was literally at like 200 health. So even though that was almost a multi-cap landing there again, the tank wasn't able to clean up after the 3-cap missed. And now it looks as though Team G2 have some of that pacing on their side from that shutdown of that tank. They take about 2 in-caps off of it, and also Snipe got punched off and didn't take a whole lot of damage down in that street. But I would say Team G2 are obviously more happy about this now as they move towards the event than they were if the tank map won.
I think so. And it looks like from the spawns that they will have a quad for the next hit. So as they come up the staircase, I'm expecting them to try and land a quad on Team G2.
That would be absolutely huge here, but G2 pretty much nonplussed. They're going to push their way directly out of that choke, knowing that they have that speed and that pacing on their side right now as Survivor, and they're going to be moving towards the save for less, knowing that even though they're playing on this higher ping here, they do have a lot of space they can use to their advantage. Like, they can open this door, immediately go to the cop car, kill all the horde, and then get the cola. They're bleeding, but they have pills to deal with it, and I think that's exactly what they're going to do, because they know the special infected haven't hit. They know they have a pretty strong hit, and now this squad is going to be left completely out here for the time being. That's going to be the Hunter and the Charger getting shut down. The dual cap does land with that Smoker and Jockey onto Ellis, but Mess, kind of as we said, that's a nice play by G2 in terms of their positioning.
Yeah, I think Aquilax were expecting G2 to go straight in to grab the cola because they were setting up around it rather than at the staircase earlier. I think they made a mistake there and they didn't expect them to go back to the cop car to take the hit.
Yeah, and not only when you're playing with this high a ping, but dead center can be infuriating for special infected teams to land hits on. There's been a little debate, of course, between our fellow casters as to whether or not the next chapter is the most survivor-sided chapter in competitive Left 4 Dead 2. I would say definitely it's one of them, and also in an area like this, where you can hold that event out on the cop car with not a massive amount of spawns. This really does aid the survivors in their goal to make the safe room. So this is going to put some pressure on Aquilax now to survive that tank, not get wiped, not take a massive amount of damage as they send this next hit in. Jockey, Spitter, Charger, and a Hunter. So the 3-1 with Charge Spit, but we're going to see G2 play a pretty slow Mess because they know they have the pacing control on their side.
Yep, and the commons have stopped spawning now, so they've already thrown the cola up there, so they don't have to worry about rushing. They're just sort of 2 people bleeding out. It's not that big of a deal, as Ice takes pills and looking to push towards the cola. And the hit looks like it's wanting to go in, or maybe just baiting for the Charger to land.
I think this idea of just bait and chip everything by G2 is great. We see Ice pretty much saying, alright, I'll be the person who takes the damage if there's any damage, but there won't be as long as his team keeps making plays like that. Hunter gets skeeted, Jockey gets shut down, just the Charger and the Spit left now as Reg is going to move forward as well, beautifully baiting that Charger. And Mesk, I don't like to say this early, but it does seem as though G2 has the pacing figured out for Aquilax's last couple hits.
I think you are entirely right there. They have been taking control of this map so far after that tank.
Really, it's something too where I think Aquilax, after the quad that they threw at the start of that event, they only got like 2 hits out of that entire sequence, because if they had tried to send that hit on G2 on the cop car, they knew G2 was going to push, and then G2 were able to just take it as slowly as they needed to in order to kill everything the SI threw at them, and that's what they do here again. Jockey, Hunter, Smoker all shut down, and I think G2 are actually going to be able to W their way into the safe room here, so a great job by them, as we mentioned, rebounding from that early wipe, and this is going to put the pressure on Aquilax to match that bonus. Team G2 walking into the safe room to bring their total to 1,090 points for this best of 1 match here. 1,068 of that coming right here on the second map.
If you think about all the hits past the tank, I don't think Team Aquilax actually did any meaningful damage to the bonus beyond the tank fight. So that entire rest of the map was kind of a non sequitur for Team G2.
It really
that
was.
may not have been the right word.
No, I know what you're saying, where it's like after the tank there, it seemed as though, because things didn't go as ideally as they could have for Aquilax on that tank, obviously that's something else where it's like, alright, the survivors are going to be happy with the fact they only take 2 downs, plus they melted Dino's tank in a way that was only possible by a team that was on the same page. We are going to be seeing Team Aquilax on survivor side now, seeing a Boomer Proxy go out onto Ellis, who was on top of that barricade, but only a little bit of residual spit damage going out. And I'm not sure there, Mess, because like I said, when Team Aquilax sent their tank in, they almost got that 3 cap, but the SI support probably has to come in a little bit earlier. I would be surprised if we didn't see G2 try to capitalize on that a little better.
Yeah, I'm also wondering if they might take it in a different spot. I've seen some teams take it on the road, as Ellis is taking about 50 damage from that hit. Sorry, taking it on the road where there's a spot where the tank actually can't get to the survivors if they can survive the SI hits in that area. So we'll see how Team Aquilax takes this tank as it comes up.
Something I can say that I've seen a lot more recently, but especially from teams of G2's caliber, is the way that they get damage against good opponents. And that was one example of it on that last hit, where we saw everything kind of go on the same guy. That Hunter, though, is not going to be able to land. It's a 2-2. Smoker gets cleared as well as the rest of this one boom horde comes in. And G2 now should have a hit for this choke. They save the spitter, but then after that, they might save spawns, and we could even be seeing an insta-commit from that tank because they know the tank spawns on the bridge in that way and gets close to the survivors before the survivors have a massive amount of time to set up. So I'll be running to see exactly what G2 does with this. It's going to be another 2-2, Boomer, Spitter, Jockey, and a Charger for this somewhat enclosed area at the top of these stairs.
Looks like the Boomer may be saving for the tank spawn, just sort of getting a view of the survivors for his teammates. As the Charger is looking to go down the... Yep, they might be waiting for a hit, honestly. Letting Aquilax down off of this walkway for free.
We've seen Team Aquilax's pacing also slow way down here. I think they know that they need to do as well as possible on this particular Survivor round since G2 have already made it, and because we're only playing one game, we've seen them really baiting out this choke here, but they put DDA, who is bleeding but does have an extra set of pills, in the front to bait out whatever he possibly can before the rest of this goes in. Really patient play from both sides right here, because G2 haven't bitten on any of this yet, and now the Survivors are going to push their way out with the rest of the hit coming in. That Charger going to be completely left out to dry, but the Jockey does manage to land for a couple of ticks of spit damage onto iPad, and as you mentioned, Mess, they did save that Boomer.
And the Boomer goes in and misses that one boom on Ellis. So if they clear these commons quickly, they can spawn up the tank and only have to deal with the tank in 3 spawns if they insta-commit.
Indeed, they shall. The tank's up 14 G2 into the hands of Snipe, and that tank is going to be looking to get closer to the Survivors right away as he jumps onto that fence and then onto this unit and then onto that wall once again, making that smooth transition to the top above the Survivors. They have a 3-cap for support right now with that Charger, Smoker, Hunter, but what do you see from this?
I see that Caution is failing to get up onto the lamp up there.
Huh.
If he tries it again, he gets it this time. That may be blocking that Charger spawn. As the Hunter goes in, trying to get the tank a rock, but gets skeeted by
that charge!
As iPad gets charged off of the area, and the tank gets a rage rock.
Really interesting to see exactly how much damage or how little damage gets taken by Survivors falling off of that. I know a death punch is possible if the Survivors jump while they're kiting the tank, but we saw that punch go out on the last half and also that charge there. iPad getting a little lucky, I think, that he did not take that damage from the rock, but that's going to be something now that he's going to pay more attention to. I don't expect to see that kind of separation happen in quite that way, and this Boomer here is going to be pivotal. Reg is going to have to get this land if this tank is going to wipe, in my opinion, unless he gets any one of those multis or those in-cap punches. Snipe going to be going in. Yep, running all the way across there and getting that punch. As I mentioned, there is the death punch onto Dino going out. Snipe PZing him with that double boom and a pounce landing onto the one non-boom Survivor. There is your wipe, Mess, and that's exactly what I said, because that ledge can be so dangerous for the Survivors.
That was an insane play by Reg there to hit Dino off that, and you called it incredibly.
That was, I mean, Snipe, that commit path too was amazing, because you can run almost like you're pixel walking, like across that ledge up there. It's really thin, so you have to be careful, but it really does find a way to counter the Survivor's strategy, right? Because they try to put one person on the generator, 2 people on the hedge, another person on the side where the tank can't really get to them, but if you're able to drop in on top of the Survivor's heads like that, it doesn't really matter where they're standing.
Yeah, I think when they saw the tank trying to commit, they should have looked at repositioning so they didn't get punched like they did, but they have to think about this round now. They can't be stuck in the past round. So we have round 3 for Team G2 as they have about 700 lead going into map 3.
This is something that I've seen a couple times now in Dead Center, though, but the scores on this game really can explode. That's the thing. Like, Map 2 and Map 3 are worth so many points here. If Team G2 is able to make this map, as I've mentioned before, this is either the most survivor-sided chapter or one of the most survivor-sided chapters in all of competitive Left 4 Dead 2, in my opinion, just because this tank at 48%, right, is really not one that you look to wipe too often. In order for that to happen, there really does actually have to be some extremely well coordinated SI support going in, just because of the fact that survivors have so much space to shoot the tank back up and also kite him around. So whoever gets this tank from Team Aquilax, I don't know if you can really go into it saying, okay, we need to wipe, but they need to know that they have to do a fair amount of damage if they want to have a chance at making up points on this particular chapter.
Yeah, for sure. We have seen a dino tank, I remember. I think it was the iPad tank in map 1. I personally think DDA and Caution have the best tanks on that team, so we may look at a really strong tank from them. As Team G2 shuts down that smoker and the jockey gets bunted and Charger whiffs on everyone. Great shutdown by Team G2. 0 damage all around Team Aquilax.
This is what you love to see from a team like G2, and as I mentioned, this particular roster of G2, they have been around in the competitive community for years. They've won multiple tournaments together, most recently being the EU Nations Cup, as a matter of fact, with this roster. And when they have the momentum on their side exactly like that, they weren't really afraid of that hit, even though there was the Boomer and the Charger. They just went out of the safe room, killed everything one by one, and now they are pushing their... I want to say actually close to the tank spawn after this next hit, right? It's going to be a Spitter, Smoker, Hunter, and a Boomer. If they take this cleanly, they might actually have their choice as to whether they want to push up the escalator to fight the tank there or drop back. Both areas are pretty good for the survivors.
Yeah, I've seen Team Aquilax take this tank further back, and I think they will be doing that on the survivor side. As the Smoker and Hunter go on one nick as the Spitter lands, and does a small amount of damage on Nick, as the rest of the survivor team are extremely healthy still.
See Caution actually saving this Boomer as well as the tank is up into the hands of DDA for Team Aquilax, and G2 are electing to take it here right before this broken door and event drop, but they are going to get single boomed right there by that Boomer dropping off the top, and now the decision has to come to DDA, who is now going to roll in here with his SI support as the Horde's going in. Jockey lands onto Ellis as well, trying to set up a cap, not quite landing yet, and G2 are desperately cutting this tank, but the tank finds a corner at just around 4,000 HP. No support left to his name, however, so that's going to be a down. Going out onto Lion, but DDA down to about 1,000 HP as the Smoker Pole manages to land. Nice punch going out onto Nick right there, but he gets completely railed down by those Uzis. Just about 2 incaps going out, so that's a pretty good amount of damage to that area, but what did you see from that mess?
I saw a charge by iPad who fell off and wasn't really able to get anything afterwards. So that tank basically had 2 spawns plus maybe about a half of the single boom's horde coming in. So the fact that DDA got almost 2 incaps from that, I think that's really, really good.
I agree with that, because that tank honestly can be just almost no damage if the survivors play the best they can, but that's going to be a boom proxy going out onto Coach right there, out of spit as the jockey latches onto Ellis for just a little bit of damage. The question for Aquilax now, of course, is, okay, how are we going to kill them during the event, and then can we do that same kind of shutdown on survivor side, or even take it better to try to make these points up? I don't want to be too hyperbolic here, but if Team G2 makes the safe room with this health, it's going to be real hard for Aquilax to rebound, just because it's 4 maps of Dead Center. Map 2 already went the way it did. These next couple SI hits are going to make or break the game, in my opinion, for Team Aquilax. They have a Hunter, Charger, Smoker, and a Boomer for this one, and G2 are in absolutely no rush either, as they move underneath this awning and take a 1 boom for this Horde.
The thing about taking this Horde here is ammo might become an issue soon, as people may have seen in my game today. We sort of ran out of ammo and had to run back halfway through the map because there was no ammo pile. So if they look at running out of ammo here, then Team Aquilax may sort of be able to land some more hits easily as Team G2 leans on their secondary weapons more.
That's a really important point for a couple of reasons. One of them being that G2 has decided to take the event on the opposite side of the atrium than that escalator to the 3rd floor, but we do have a nice multi-cap coming in here with that Hunter, Charger, and Smoker all landing. That's the exact amount of damage that Team Aquilax was looking for, and that was completely onto the damage bonus as well. A gorgeous hit coming out, and Snipe actually taking his pills instead of giving them to Lion, who's going to be at 1 HP, and now G2 are trying to transition to the escalator with the survivor slow in the back. I'm not 100% sure about this call from Team G2 right now, just because I'm a little nervous for Lion being at 1 health down below, and he is going to get in-capped by that Hunter. Boomer spawning up as well is going to get popped. Jockey and Spitter are going to be trying to troll down here as Lion is down, but also does have a deagle. That's going to be a Jockey landing onto ice, but now Mess, that's one survivor black and white, another one slow, and G2 are taking a lot of damage at this event.
Yeah, I think that 3-cap kind of got G2 flustered, as Snipe taking those pills is a huge mistake. And now they're dealing with slow survivors, and they've had another in-cap because of it. It's just a terrible position to put your team in, but it's an accident that will happen sometimes. As this charge goes for a death charge, and it gets it!
Wow.
It's not quite a death charge, but it is a in-cap, and they may just want to leave him, and it looks like they are.
That is wild, because now I think Lion's going to drop off. He is black and white, so I think that's the right move, because he should be able to pick up Snipe. They are going to have to walk back up those escalators, however, with a hit coming into Q. G2 are super duper split right now with that one survivor black and white. As we mentioned, this has been the round that Team Aquilax is looking for so far from their special infected. So long as they're able to hit Reg after potentially killing off Lion, they really could get out of this, with G2 only making, I don't know, 500, maybe 600 points max on this. It's a Charger, Hunter, Spitter, and a Jockey for the next as well. And kind of as you mentioned, I think that special infected chemistry from Aquilax did fluster G2 just enough now to where if Aquilax hit these next couple hits, they could take a lead on this map, at least just for this map. I don't know if they can make up the entire delta from map 2, but they can do work on Survivor side with this.
For sure. While we have our first pause of the game, a Oz Pug Classic, I just have a message from Shorty. We have Team Aquilax rather than I'm not exactly sure how you say it, but we just have a down coming in on Nick with the spit, and the Jockey getting out, maybe trying to troll the pickup here, as he gets bunted by Ellis.
Yeah, and that's really unfortunate for Team Aqualuck right there, because like that Charger almost went off the balcony, but I think it was a glass panel that stopped it. And G2 are just happy to have everybody alive at this point. They know that they're probably not going to make safe room with 4. Lions at 1 HP, black and white. Boomer does manage to get shoved right there by Snipe at the bottom of that stairwell. That is unfortunate, because that Common Horde coming in would provide, I think, just enough cover for Team Aqualuck to do what they can on these special infected hits. They might actually have a quad cap coming up now, but again, like I said, if even one common taps Lion, he's gonna die. I don't know about the decision to send that Charger on ice. However, Lion is dead. Ice is pulled back. That is definitely helping the special infected's case right now. They just need to scratch down a couple of these survivors. There's the Hunter pin landing in front. Jockey going for the intercept, but Reg is now also going to go slow.
Yep, and Ice gets in-capped so that they can have 30 health rather than 1, slowing them down even further. Now Spitter's up, and G2 Snipe is looking to go 1 HP very soon, so a Spitter could in-cap that soul by himself, as a Boomer gets popped on the escalator down the bottom.
This is something I will say about this map in particular, however. There have been a couple of points in these matches where it seems as though the survivors just have no bonus. This is one of those situations where even with one survivor dead and Snipe going down right there, just because Reg still has that permanent HP, Team G2 still have like 60 points of bonus. It was a lot worse than that in a couple of the other games. That Charger is going to get cleared right there as that Jockey gets M2'd, and the Smoker isn't able to find a pin in the back quite yet either. Reg doing his best to push that Smoker off. It's kind of crazy mess, because like you can have 4 survivors who are all kind of slow, and they could still have 200 bonus or something like that as they get close to the safe room.
Yeah, and it looks like they're actually taking these hits even better with 3 survivors going slow than they might have been with 4 going quick. It's kind of insane how adrenaline will make you play better in stressful situations. As the charger goes in, gets a death charge almost, never mind. Death charge on Rochelle just by getting the pound. As Ellis, who is the health bonus, is boomed in the back. Charger looking to respawn.
This is decent though, I would say too, for G2. I mean, Aquilax are going to be happy that they got the pretty much the wipe, but like I said, Reg's going to make it to the safe room with just a little bit more bonus, and it's like, okay, well, we didn't play the best that we could have on Survivor's side, but we still made 600 points out of this map, because this map is 600 distance points and a whole lot of bonus if you make it with green survivors. And honestly, with this right now, 1700 to about 400, you know, Aquilax really cannot afford not to make the safe room with at least 2 people green. That's the situation that we're looking at going into finale, I would say. Like, they can afford to take a couple downs, but in an area where it is so easy for the survivors to kill the tank, like, we want to see them taking, I don't know, like an in cap at most in their most ideal scenario.
Yeah, I think they could make it with 600 bonus if they play this not perfectly, but well enough on yellow ping. I think 600 is reasonable and will keep them in the game, as DDA is pushing out front and gets proxy boomed as the smoker goes in, gets cleared.
Nice play. That's the kind of survivor play we need to see out of Aquilax there, because that's like, all right, we're going to go out, one survivor's going to get proxy boom, but then he holds S directly into the safe room, and that's really important that the survivors are not taking any unnecessary risks here, even on that ping. Ellis not even really trying to go for any other damage onto those special infected, just trying to make sure he gets back to safety. And now this SI hit, it's going to be a quad with the Charger, the Smoker Jockey, and Hunter. 3 of them are spawned up top, just the Hunter down below. Looks as though they're going to hit the survivors. Maybe when they start moving on the escalator, Charger's going to go in. That's going to be a beautiful triple cap. Looking for the quad. Oh my goodness. Team G2, your tournament's 4th seed, hitting a beautiful quad cap. Mess, what went wrong?
I'm gonna say they all got in-capped and that's how they lost.
Honestly though, like that Charger landing, Reg dropped that off the side of that escalator to try to land that, and that's just a GG quad. G2 just won the match with that special infected hit. That's going to be Team G2 taking the win on this one game over Team Aquilax by a score of 1,695 to 387. That special infected synchronicity right there was perfect.
Yeah, I couldn't have expected anything better from the 4th seed G2. That was some amazing infected to land on a yellow ping, even against yellow ping with a quad cap. That is very difficult to land, even on red ping.
We saw a suggestion for 1 to 3 come out from iPad, but now it looks as though the rest of Team Aquilax want to play this out. But Mesk, I mean, in an area like that on such a survivor-sided map, that quad cap was ridiculous. And I think a big part of it was, okay, they waited, they killed Boomer, and the survivors were like, all right, we're going to go in the safe room, kill all the horde, and we're going to be okay for this. But then they had spawns above the survivors where 3 of those 4 SI were able to drop in from the top and essentially not have a massive amount of time for the survivors to kill them before they landed. And I think that was the key to making that happen. Aquilax going to be trying to play it out right here. Single boom does manage to land. Smoker pull isn't going to do much of anything, and Team G2 are going to continue this role that they have been on. Mesk, they are such a dangerous team.
Yeah, they're looking very, very strong. And if you're in the top 1 to 3 seed, or anyone else like the Team South Stars who beat Team Evo, they're looking like strong competitors that you need to look out for.
They truly are. It's an unfortunate situation in some ways for the tournament, because we did see a couple of the higher seeds unfortunately not able to complete their registration over the first couple weeks of the tournament there, you know? So we had a couple teams drop out for different reasons, but G2, They pose a threat to anyone in this tournament, in my opinion, just by merit of the fact they played at such a high level for so long, and now they are going to be shutting this hit down as well. Charger dying, Spit not landing on anything, Hunter gets killed, and the tank is up into the hands of Caution for Team Aquilax. I mean, on Aquilax's side, it's like, all right, well, we were able to hold them to 1,700 points so far on Survivor side, right? But the issue really has been against G2's Special Infected and how well coordinated it's been. Just like I said, that comes, I'd say, with chemistry and having played these kind of high-level games for years. But Aquilax, they can still try to find a way to keep this close, do damage on this tank, and then say, all right, what can we take away from this to help us out in the next match?
Yep, for sure. I know Caution in the Australian community is known as the king of the go-go, so he was probably wanting to look at committing with his tank as soon as it is viable with the spawns. So
Name
he's looking...
for like 4 months at least, his name was just one to go on my list, and I was like, I didn't remember that it was Caution, but I was like, oh, it's the guy that likes to go, and I'm not even from the Australian community, you know, like.
Yeah, go-go has become an Australian meme. As the Hunter goes in, gets skated, and Tank hits his first punch. Boomer's gonna get hot without landing, and the Smoker's not landing on anything. This is a dead tank. Yeah, dead tank for Caution. And he probably won't be very happy with that one.
I don't think so, but it's so interesting to see this, especially nowadays. I really have not seen Pat saying Seed 9, by the way, in chat. Seed 9 support!
Who made the bracket?
I gotta say, I do love Team Aquilax though. Like they have such a great sense of humor. They are just fully here to play the game. I mean, that was unfortunate that the support wasn't able to do much there, but this is a lot better for Team Aquilax as we have a jockey and a spit burn onto 2 cans right there. Coach standing in the middle of that fire for just a hot second, but that was a tank that really needed SI support to do any kind of work, and that honestly is every tank that I've seen in this area so far. I've seen so many no-hitters or just a couple hitters because this area is so wide and the Uzis do so much damage. The tank really can't catch up to the survivors on his own here.
No. You need like an early Hunter or an early Smoke or a Boom landing pre-commit to actually get anything substantial on that tank.
There are just so many places that the survivors can hold S back into and also kite around. There we saw them use the wider part of the atrium on the ground floor, but they can also use the tables and also the kiosks to really get away from the Special Infected. Right now, though, 4 cans already in. G2 are looking to get these last 2 on the top prior to that second tank spawn. They're going to be doing the Jockey, Smoker, Charger, and a Spitter for the hit from Aquilax here, and it looks as though the Smoker wants to climb up from the second floor. Charger is on the side with a Jockey as well, but they haven't quite been able to find the spawns that they were looking for, while G2 continues to motor their way across this walkway to those 2 other cans. Charger spawns up now and is going to land a charge with the tank for Team Aquilax coming into the hands of iPad as well, and he spawns actually really near the mess. He's on the same floor.
Yeah, he's blocking 2 of those cans at the top, so they can't look to sort of grab those and threaten to go to safe, like finish to safe room, because he's able to block them there.
G2 are also deciding to stay on the same floor actually right now, but now they're going to drop actually the second floor and maybe work their way back down. They are still moving 2 gas cans as well, maybe going to try to force this tank in by pouring these 2 cans. That would be an extremely aggressive survivor play, but with how well they've done so far and how far up they are, we are going to be seeing them continuing to fill the Jimmy Gibbs stock car right here. iPad's above them with this tank trying to throw rocks down, but I would expect to see some horde if the survivors keep moving gas cans.
Yeah. I was playing around with some gas cans on practice, and it's not entirely I'm not entirely sure how it works with the horde, but from what I understood is if you pick up and put in a gas can after the tank has already spawned, then you're going to get horde to come in, and that's not going to stop if you do that.
Right, that tank's actually going to punch one of those gas cans there on this upper catwalk as well. iPad is trying to actually knock it towards the survivors, which he manages to do. So basically the tournament admin just knocked the gas can towards the enemy team, hopefully trying to set them on fire, and he's going to be moving in right now, looking to get any kind of corner that he can. But again, the survivors have so much room to kite him around. However, Coach making a little bit of an error right there, looking away from the tank as the tank gets a punch, lands a nice separation rock onto Nick, but even with those 2 hits so far and that rock onto Coach, it's not quite enough for the tank to be able to catch the survivors. That's the thing. Getting that corner, any kind of corner in that open area, is so difficult for any SI team against a good survivor squad.
Yeah. I'm not sure whether iPad was trying to throw that gas can towards G2 or if he was trying to put it up somewhere where they couldn't actually reach it. I'm not sure whether that would be against the rules, but seeing as 2 of the tournament admins are on that team, maybe that isn't against the rules. Maybe they'll just make it a rule that it's okay.
Exactly. I mean, and as your North American, one of your North American tournament moderators, I would just like to say that I, for one, welcome our new Australian overlords. I don't know if there's really a conversation there. If they want to just punt gas cans at each other using tanks, I think it's perfectly fine, so long as not everything catches on fire.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Or as the smoker gets cleared and Jockey lands, Hunter might try and help cap on Coach, and that's nice 2-cap that lands for Team Aquilax.
This is something I will say though, with how strong the unsilenced Uzis are right here, the potential for long-range clears has gone way up, I would say, in this version of Zone Mod. That's going to be a can burn going out, but even there, when you saw that double cap, one of the survivors, I think it was Snipe, was able to, no pun intended, crouch and snipe that Hunter off the survivor using that unsilenced Uzi. And G2 now are going to juke that charger while tossing another can down. I don't know, like I said, this is such, and this finale though, I would say over the years, because survivors know how to play it more and because like it's not as huge a difference between versus and scavenge at this point, there are so many ways for the survivors to make this map. However, we're not seeing one of those right now. What we're seeing right now is a double cap up top onto Reg and to Snipe right there with that Smoker and that Hunter combination. Lots of damage going out. Reg's gonna get jockeyed again as well, with a spit going down onto Ellis, who's already capped. The point I was making is that the survivors have a lot of ways to control space and clear each other even when separated, but if you get double capped when you're 2-2, that's not going to be any kind of formula for success on this atrium.
No, and Team Aquilax are clearing cans with the spit pretty well. They're forcing Team G2 to double back a bunch of times to grab cans. So they're not making it too easy for them, even if they are giving them 1 or 2 cans for free.
That's what you like to see. That charger got a couple of punches and was able to deny a gas pour right there, but now the can is going to be put into the Jim against stock car, bringing the total up to 11 now for G2, and they only have 2 of those cans left, but they are in 2 different spots. One of them is on the 3rd floor, and the other has been pushed back into the corner next to that 50% off sign. That means that Team G2 are going to have to move before they go slow. They pop that boomer. Everybody's bleeding, however. Jockey, Spitter, and a charger.
Go in, but he falls off. Who is that charger?
That would be Caution.
Oh, he's fuming, I bet.
He hasn't looked at somebody found him.
He just stopped moving. Might have been typing to team.
Could have been typing to team chat in some ways. They did manage to hunt him down and kill him there as that cam was dropped from that floor. There's only 1 left to be put into the Jimmy Gibbs car now for Team G2, and they are going to be looking to do just that, but there is Death Spit stopping Snipe for a split second as that smoker gets cleared, and now that proxy boom does go out. But even though there are 2 survivors boomed, it won't be of any consequence as Team G2, your tournament number 4 seed right here in the Quarantine Cup, smashes their way into the 4th round with that 2-1 record by taking this game over Team Aquilax. 2,411 points right now on their survivor side, I think is enough to win them this game, barring an absolute miracle finish from Team Aquilax. great game by G2 so far. They've done everything they needed to do on this one game server.
Yeah, even with the map 1 wipe fest, it was 20 points each, thereabouts. It's a pretty reasonable score for the 4 map game, basically 3 map even. So Team G2 looking really strong.
They have been. I will say I've seen that similar story, though, even in scrims, where it's like, okay, everybody wipes on map 1. If both teams wipe on map 1, there's one team that's ahead by a fair amount of distance. I think even in your match, we saw, okay, if there's a wipe on map 1 on either Homer or it's really not. It's not of any consequence for the rest of the map, because map 1 is so different from map 2, map 3, and map 4 with the whole 2 guns thing and the tank in the safe room. People have high ping. G2 weren't worried about that whatsoever, and now they're going to be trying to bring this home on their special infected side. Nice shutdown, however, going out onto that Boomer and Hunter. The Charger going for that pull target as well, not able to get any kind of damage. I have seen teams score an obscene amount of points on this map, but Aquilax are going to have to play this almost perfectly, shut down both tanks, and make quick work of these gas cans if they want to make this interesting.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to make it with enough bonus to win still, seeing as they still have 2 tanks to get through, as well as moving around this gigantic map with so many different floors and death charge potentials and in-cap smokes. It's looking grim for the Australians here.
The first team to 2,412 wins. Thank you, Lion, for that true statement. We have a double cap going out. DDA, as he's told his team, the way to win is you pour in cans and you don't eat free punches. Ice, for Team G2, may disagree with that. I think in their opinion, the way to win would be to land a lot of punches as this tank and have the survivors not make any points on this map whatsoever. Ice is going to start to look to do that by rotating across from the survivors, smashing a couple of these glass panes, most likely to get some sight in a second, but choosing to throw an underhanded rock at the survivors right now. We do see the go-go-go's coming out from Reg in G2's team chat. There is that boom going out. Rock almost lands onto a stumbling Rochelle. And I don't know, Mesk, we've seen Survivor and Infected teams play this a number of different ways, but what do you think the best way is to get damage on this tank?
I think it is to commit with high health and have a Hunter spawn behind where you're going to push the survivors just to get a stumble or a free rock and then corner. It's the only way I see it, or landing a insane boomer perhaps, like Lion is looking to do. As Snipe lands a 25 damage pounds on DDA and the jockey getting cleared as the boomer lands a 2-boom.
We're going to need to see more of that from Team G2 if they want to get this wipe here. That double boom was great. The damage pounce was awesome as well. And a big part of this, I will say, is that so long as Ice is able to maintain some modicum of control here, they can get a lot of damage on the special infected side just from the special infected hits. I do believe Ice is going to have to commit this tank, however, with a little bit of horde still left in the queue, dropping in from that top floor. Smoker Hunter and a Charger for the SI hit. There's a beautiful separation pull, however, on to DDA. That's going to be the tank getting this initial corner, and that is huge in this area. The Smoker is still alive as well. Ice decommitting as this Charger lands. Going to be throwing a rock from the top. Not going to land it, but this Charger clear was pretty slow. There's the corner going out onto caution as well, and that is a pause from Team G2 because I do believe their Hunter has crashed. They only have the Smoker left in support now, but this could still wipe because that's a down onto caution.
Yeah, I think Team G2 should call for a restart here. They're losing a spawn in their tank. They need it to make sure they
check rules. We have had a slapdash modification to the rules right here. Section 420.69. If you don't ready up within 15 seconds of a pause, you're immediately disqualified Mason style, according to Lion.
I think that's a great way to make Aquilax the champions of this game.
It really is. I mean, it turns from a marathon into a sprint, and it's all about can teams ready up after pauses. But we play competitive Left 4 Dead 2, so we already know the answer to that.
Definitely not, because you might have one person crash and then think, oh, may as well go AFK, grab a drink, go to the bathroom, and then your teammate's back and you're not back, and someone else goes. It's a pause-a-thon. You can't really deal with it.
However, on this tank so far, from what I can see at least, it's been a great example of what Team G2 can do. We see a lot of go-go's and go-go coming out in the chat right here from Caution and DDA. I mean, shut up, I'm trying to focus. There is the round going live again. There's your corner onto Caution. There's going to be a smoker pull onto Coach, and the tank is going to continue this swath of destruction onto Team Aquilax as Ice gets that final in cap. Second to final in cap, I should say. Unfortunately, a bit of foreshadowing, however, for Aquilax, it would seem, if this smoker is able to land. The tank is down to 600 HP. A beautiful curve rock. I spoke just a minute too soon. A gorgeous wipe, a gorgeous amount of SI support, and an amazing game from Team G2 as we see Team Aquilax unfortunately fall to 2-1 here as they boot Dino from the server by a score of 2,411 to 459. Nest, that was a dominating performance by G2.
Yeah, 459. That might be the lowest score I've ever seen in a competitive match. And coming from the fellow Aussies, I'm not so happy about that. We'll have to see how the Aquilarium deal with the 2-1 bracket next week, while the G2 have to deal with the 3-0 bracket, and they're looking very, very strong in there.
Yo, I will say this. I have been an admin in this community for a fair amount of time, and in this tournament I have nothing to do with the brackets, but right now I am praying to Fig Newtons somehow that Team G2 and Team South Stars give us a game next week on I Hate Mountains 2. That would be an incredible matchup because G2 moved to 3-0. We saw the upset happen last night as well, and you have these teams who are so experienced when it comes to playing on high ping. Even in that game, G2 were seamless. You know, ping wasn't even really in the equation for them at that point because it was such a neutral game, and that's why I love to see best of one games. I understand why the home and away system is so important, but when you have a chance to put two teams on even footing and say, okay, whoever wins this one particular game on this server right now is the one who moves to 3-0, 4-0, who cares? That just raises the stakes so much, and I would love to see more games in the vein of the one we just casted, and also the one between South Stars and Evo, because it was the same situation. Give us 4 maps, give us 2 of the best teams in the world, and then see who comes out on top, and G2 managed to do that here today.
Yeah, I agree. I think the one-match games are very, very interesting to watch. And if my calculations are correct, both the Australian teams are in the 2-1 bracket for next week.
Oh, so there could be a derby.
From how I looked at it, it's looking like a strong possibility that Insax might be versing Team Aquilax next week on the Australian servers.
Insax versus Alcohol. Oh, that would yo, if that happens, if there turns out to be a derby, I just demand that High Cookie come back for a cast.
I'm sure he would. I've already asked him to cast something else, but I'm sure he would come back for the Oz stream.
Yeah, the Oz stream would be just that would be just a bunch of dudes on the bathhouse server having an amazing time. Like that essentially is what I can promise for that from all angles. Anything else that we want to say about that match there, as we've just seen it there with G2 moving to 3-0?
I think there is one extra thing about Team Aquilax. I believe DDA is retiring from the team for the rest of the tournament due to university work, so they will be playing with a new player next week, I believe.
That's wild. I didn't know about that whatsoever. That is unfortunate to hear because I want to say, despite what we just saw happen there with G2 taking the win, Team Aquilax, I have a huge amount of respect for them just because of the amount of play that they've done in the competitive scene over the past couple of years. Like, to see them progress as a unit, essentially, from people who were like just starting to scrim on higher ping. I remember that back in the day a few years ago, right? To now one of your premier teams in the international scene in this tournament. You know, that's unfortunate to hear that one of their longest standing players isn't going to be able to play as much or at all moving forward in this tournament, especially after a game like that. So not now, like now, not only are they going to have to rebound from that game, but they're also going to have to adjust to a new lineup from next week onward.
Yeah, definitely. It's looking like possibly either Identity or Shorty will be taking that spot, but they have also brought back Mutiny,
Oh boy.
an old player, as a
Salmon
possible.
catchers. Salmon
Yeah, the
catchers
salmon
mutiny.
catchers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I remember as well, because even all the way back in like 2014 when it was CCT3, I remember Salmon Catchers with Artie and Mutiny being just like the number 3 seed, I'm pretty sure, in that tournament, and playing a hell of a 2-game series against Apollyon and stuff like that as well. So it's something where, these are names that are well known, obviously, in the Australia and New Zealand community, but also who are high level international names. Seeing Mutiny come back and seeing him play with caution seriously again, that would be really interesting to see how that affects Team Aquilax's chemistry. They have some work to do at this point, but after that kind of game, I think it's just, okay, let's see who we get paired against next week. Let's take it one by one. And since it is on a custom map, and I Hate Mountains 2, that's even more practice that you're going to have to put in, because let me tell you right now, I Hate Mountains 2 is the definition of a competitive Left 4 Dead 2, what's the politically correct way to say this? It's a beautiful mess. Yeah, we'll go with that.
yeah. I have only just played it for the first time last week, so I'm gonna be having to practice that one a whole bunch.
Yeah, there was a term that I was looking for there that was about like 3 syllables that rhymed with Fustercluck that I was gonna say, but I didn't actually say it. That will be very interesting to see. But for this game, congratulations, Team G2, number 4 seed, and proving it right there. That quad cap map 3 is going in a number of videos somewhere. I don't know. It'll be a tournament highlight of some kind. They take the win over Team Aquilax, and we will be seeing more action today, I will say. I know my team has our match in a few hours, but the rest of these games are looking to be completed by the end of the night tonight, with all things hopefully considered, and after that we will be seeing some amazing matchups for round number 4. But for round number 3 here on this particular cast, again, congratulations G2, commiserations Team Aquilax. Want to give a shout out to Vanille for streaming the game, Mess for co-casting, server hosters, tournament administrators, 2 of whom we saw in that game right there, and of course everyone else for competitive Left 4 Dead 2 from across the world for doing what they can to support these casts by either watching or streaming or playing, donating money, whatever you possibly do to keep this game alive in its 10th year. So with that being said, for everyone here at the Quarantine Cup and for Meskin Vanille, I've been Rails Barlow. Have a great rest of your day, and we hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Good night.